Today we're talking all about the new audio crossfade features in Final Cut Pro 10.4.9. Let's get into it. Hey, real quick, if you're new here, I'm Chadwick. This is Creative Video Tips, where we help you create videos that make a difference and stand out. If that's something you're into, click subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Audio crossfades. Yeah, it sounds boring, right? I mean, you know how to do it. There's that little thing you drag in the end and it smooths out your audio. Well, this feature is something I've been wanting for a very long time, and it's one of the reasons I haven't used Final Cut Pro 10 until this past month when it first came out. So the reason audio crossfades is such a big deal to me is because I think that almost every single clip should have, audio clip should have fades on it, and that's because of this whole thing with audio waveforms, which, you know, they're waveforms, they go up and down and up and down. They go across a zero crossing, and if you make a cut and it does not happen, if it happens up here and it's far away from the zero crossing, you get a click or you get a pop, and that click or pop really makes your video a little less professional than it needs to be. What I'm talking about when I'm saying there's pops and clicks, if you're not putting crossfades on, is this. Take a listen to the very beginning and end of each clip. It's almost like there's some totally different artificial sound that's coming in, and that's because the audio is getting cut at an area that's not a zero crossing. So I've been teaching and sort of, mentoring interns for quite a while, and that's the biggest thing I'll see on their timelines is they're not using the audio crossfades. And when it's just a button away, there's no reason not to use it. So the audio crossfade is your way of making sure that there's no audio click or pop that you've introduced from your cutting. So, you can Frankenbite all kinds of pieces together, and if you have audio crossfades, or even if you don't have a Frankenbite clip, which is like if you want to make someone say something that they're not actually saying, which is really actually fun to do if you haven't done that before. It's going to smooth it all out, and it's going to sound natural, and you're not going to be annoyed by the clicks and pops. So to fix that, we just quickly apply our Option T. We select them all here, and then by hitting Option T, that has applied a crossfade. And if we move in closer here, you can see there's this little dip. And if we expand the audio, which is Control S, you can see what's happening is one of these is getting overlapped with the other. So it's a little different than other editing systems where you might have like a little icon or effect that's on top of a clip for your cross dissolve. This instead is just doing an overlap with the fade handles that are on there, or the fade handles that are built into the system. Close that back up. Let's take another listen. And much better. So the clicks are gone. There's still a little dip, but you're not going to hear that if it's dialogue or effects, that sort of thing. It should be, because it's not a constant tone. So I want to show you real quick how you access that besides just knowing that it's Option T. If you go up to Final Cut Pro menu up here, Commands, and then Customize, and in the command editor, which is like our keyboard editor, we can type in Fade. It's a little shortcut to see where things are at. Now, crossfade is assigned by default to Option T, which is what I just showed you. Apply audio fades is an older feature, which basically is going to do a similar thing to crossfades, except it doesn't extend the head and tail of a clip. So apply audio fades is something I have programmed to Option Command T, but if you go back to the default keyboard, it's not there. So there's not one assigned by default. You still are going to want to have that as an option. So I would probably set that, like I did there to, Option Command T or something with T in it, so that you'll know that it's a transition that you're going to be using. So another place you can check out your fades, if you don't want to memorize that it's Option T, because maybe you're not in Final Cut every day and you don't need to memorize the key commands, you select the clip and it's a modify option. So if you go up to the top and you go to modify, you can go down to adjust audio fades. And so right here we have the option to apply fades, crossfades, and you can see the shortcuts that were added here. And then there's also remove fades. So maybe you just need to have a clean slate. You could go in here, select them all, modify, adjust fades, remove fades, and now they're gone, and we'll hear the clicks again. Ooh, awful, isn't it? One thing I learned when I was making this tutorial is that audio crossfades will not affect a clip unless it's directly adjacent to that clip. In other words, I have some black sort of, filler here that's before this initial piece of tone. I added the crossfade to it. It's only going to do the crossfade action on the tail end because there's a clip on the other end. So you're still going to get that click on the front end. So the way that you'll want to go about dealing with that is in fact going to your little drag handle and pulling that over, however far you need. So that smoothed it out. Okay, so now you're an audio crossfade master in Final Cut Pro 10.4.9. It's as easy as that. You don't have that excuse anymore, those clicks and pops, because it's just a button away. The one thing I will say is if you're going to be doing any sort of like finessing of longer fades and that sort of thing, what I would suggest doing is you do those last. So don't put any fades in at all when you're making your initial rough cut and assembly, but then just select them all, hit the button, the whatever it is, the Option T to add those fades to it. And then if you need to go and finesse things, maybe make a few of them longer, you can go in manually, shot by shot and do that. The reason you don't want to do the finessing before is because if you've done any work to it and then you select them and hit the, the Option T for adding the crossfades in that automatic fashion, it gets rid of all the work you've done. So it sets it back to whatever your default was, and I like to just do a frame, 2 frames max, and then that way you're not missing part of a sound bite because maybe you're cutting something up real close. So anyways, now you have no excuse not to use them. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a like, ask any questions in the comments. I'm getting to every single question and I would love to hear from you, and I want to know what you want to see more of. And click subscribe if you're into this kind of thing. I want to grow this community. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.